Hello and welcome to another Wavelength Wednesdays. My name is Waveney. I'm your host, and every week I bring you tips and strategies geared towards connecting, inspiring, and influencing you to being the best in your job or your personal life, your professional or personal life. And welcome. So I certainly hope that you had the opportunity to view last week's video. Last week, this month, I'm speaking about career transitions and the various things, transitions, activities, events that can happen throughout the course of your career. And we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and so I started off May by speaking about terminations, being made redundant, those sort of things. I spoke about that last week. I spoke about a topic that is very common here on the island. It's about expats or foreigners coming into the country to work. And I had some tips, some really great tips for them to be successful. And so today, what I'm going to speak about is now many persons and maybe thinking about many persons may be in deep thought during this pandemic about their life, about their career, about their jobs. I know I've spoken to many persons. They are really considering changing careers. They're really considering, is it worth it? Was all that energy that I and love and everything that I poured into my job, into that company, did it really make sense? Do I pivot here? And so today I want to touch on that. So outside of the pandemic, it is quite common for persons to think about whether or not they want to stay in a particular industry. They may be, and it's usually sometimes at some sort of, I don't want to say midlife crisis, but that's what's popping up. But some sort of event is triggering that deep thought. For us right now, it's the pandemic. A few years ago, back in, when was it, 2008, when we had all that, the banking incident, the crash, that sort of thing, when the banking industry was under fire, I know a lot of persons was thinking about, should I get out of banking, that sort of thing. No, it isn't the banking industry. No, it is hospitality, tourism, travel. Along with other industries as well, but this particular industry is the one that is getting the most pressure. And so this video really could be used for, like I said, outside of the pandemic, or if you're deeply considering career transitioning, this video is for you. And so I just wanted to sort of provoke your thought a bit. I have a few tips. I have a few things that you should consider if you are deeply thinking about transitioning out of the industry that you're currently in. If you're thinking about leaving your job, I have a few tips. So let's jump into it and get on the same wavelength. Alrighty. So like I just mentioned, all industries, it's not just hospitality, tourism, travel has been hit. All industries throughout the world, small businesses, everybody has been impacted, but to varying degrees because of the pandemic. Now, you need to ask yourself, maybe this came as a shock for everybody, even me, it came as a shock. Many of you would know that my primary job, I'm in hospitality, and our industry has been impacted. You know, we're at home and all that stuff. So everybody's kind of in this together. But there's some things you should ask yourself. The question becomes do you pivot? Is this where you pivot? And pivot means, is this where you change? You know, Is this where you pivot, or do you wait it out? And there's nothing wrong with waiting it out. My advice to you would be to wait until your emotions are settling and the dust is kind of settling on everything. In what are we in April? In April, late March, early April, everybody was in a panic mode. Nobody really knew what was going on. Everybody was scared. And so now the dust is settling, and you can see that throughout the country, throughout the world. People are going back to work. They're implementing certain measures, and it's going to get back that way. And I really feel that without the absence of a vaccine, we're going to have to try and find a way to live with this virus. And that is what is happening, right? So, do you pivot? Is this where you pivot, or do you wait it out? And what I would suggest to you is to really look at industry trends. Really look at industry trends. Really look at, do your research. Don't just decide, hey, this is where I get off, because maybe you can't afford to not go back when your job opens up. If it opens up, hopefully, maybe you can't afford to just quit yet and, you know, go straight into your dream job. Maybe you still have like 5 or 4 more years left in you, 10 more years left in you. There's nothing wrong with that. But we want to make sure that you're making the right decision, the best decision for you. I don't like the word right. Um, the best decision for you. So do your research, look at industry trends, think about the processes that you left when you left work. Look at the processes. Is the company that you're in, is it really um, manual? Do you guys really depend heavily on manual processes? And the reason why I bring this up is because there's now this huge push for everything online. And I really believe that this is not going to go away just because the virus goes away. Even if we, not even if, when we get to the other side, and we will get to the other side is not going to be like before. So you really need to understand what is going on. Maybe the company that you worked for, everything was being scaled back. There were certain changes being made already. You really want to look at that. So, and it could go the opposite. It could be that you perceive that, hey, there still will be a need. Um, I'm good for now, but really do your research on it. Really do your research. So that is my first thing. The second, or should I say the first tip? This is really the first tip. The first tip that I want to say is before you do any, and we have time, before you do anything, take an inventory of your skills. Really sit down and take an inventory of the skills. And when I say skills, I'm going to break them down into three major components. So you have soft skills. And soft skills are those skills that are a bit personal, they're people skills, they're based on personality, they're based on behavior. So, for example, some skills that are soft skills would be leadership. Some would be problem solving. Another one would be creativity. Another would be attention to detail. And you develop those skills. They're either there as a seed, or you develop them along the way, or you've been put in situations where you've had to develop them. For example, attention to detail. Persons who work, like our frontline medical workers, those persons, nurses, doctors, what do they call, EMTs? Those persons, anybody in the medical team, they need to have some sort of attention to detail, because you can't, a doctor or a nurse, they have to be paying attention. They cannot afford to give a patient wrong medication. They can't afford to give patients the incorrect dosage, that sort of thing. So their attention to detail would be at a very high level. Okay, so these are the things that I'm talking about. And you have teamwork and you have other stuff. So take an inventory of your skills, take an inventory of your soft skills. Another skill category is your technical skills. So technical skills are gained through life experience, they're gained through learning and education. And these are things like maybe you're really great in Excel. Maybe you can use a point of sale system. A point of sale system, or POS as it's shortened for, if you're in retail, if you're in even the food industry, that machine that you punch, um, the server or whomever punch rings up the check, that is a point of sale system, and there are ways in which to use it. There's even the back end where there's some persons, they can input the information. That again is a technical skill. There are reports that you can run from it, so you really have to know those systems in order to use them. Computer coding, if you're an auto mechanic, these are technical skills. So you really need to take an inventory of it, of the skills that you have. And then the last component, I would say transferable skills. So out of those two buckets, soft skills, um, technical skills, then you need to have another column that is transferable skills. And what are transferable skills? Transferable skills are those skills, and this is probably the most important of the three, because this is a skill. If you are considering leaving your current place of employment, leaving the industry, especially the industry. So if you're moving from hospitality and you want to go into banking, or if you're moving from banking and you want to go into government, or if you're moving from government and you want to go into the medical field, for example, and vice versa, you need to be aware of what your transferable skills are. And transferable skills are skills that the skills that you currently have that can be used in any industry that you're going in. And so take for example when I spoke about what was it? Attention to detail. Attention to detail is a great soft skill, and it's a great skill, transferable skill, that can be used in any industry, because who doesn't want an employee who pays attention? That means you're going to take care of my assets. That means you're going to take care of my customer. That means you're going to be on it. And I really don't have it. You're not a person that makes lots of errors. So if you have attention to detail as one of the skills, and this is another way, and I'm just inserting this. This is another way that you can tell if you have this skill. Aside from maybe the job that you do, that may bring that out in you. Do you know anyone who is very observant? For example, you may change maybe, I don't know, your lipstick, or I don't even want to say your hairdo because sometimes that is so obvious, but you may make a slight change, or you may change something in your home, and that person says, "Hey, I really, did you do da 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 da?" And you'd be like, "Well, how did you know? Did you?" That person, they're not nosy, no. They're not nosy, they have attention to detail. So that is one way that you can pick up if they have that. Another great transferable skill to have is Excel. Excel or Word, any of those Microsoft things. But Excel is great because I've seen when I was in manufacturing, I saw those engineers used Excel in a way that I've never seen before. Okay, I cannot use Excel like that, but I'm pretty good at it, but not that great. That is a great transferable skill. So really take inventory of your skills. So you're going to do three columns. You're going to do your soft skills first. You're going to do your check for your technical skills, and then you're going to cross out any of those that can be transferred can be used in the industry or in the job that you want. All right. Um, and let me just say that it doesn't even have to be the fact that you want to leave the industry, one industry to go to another. It could be that you want to open your own business. This is also a great way to see where the gap is, to see where you're going to need help. So it just doesn't apply for employees. It also applies to entrepreneurs and business people. What is this? Number two. Number two, update your resume. You knew I was coming to this one. So update your resume. And so I want to keep this really just some key things that you should pay attention to. Your resume really should be 2 pages. In very rare cases, three, but two. Okay, because recruiters' attention span is short. You're not the only person whose resume they are reviewing. So keep it at 2 pages, and you're going to focus on the following. You're going to focus on updating your contact details. I know it's a given, but this is something that people often overlook. So update your email address. If you have a very, maybe you've had this email address from since you were 12, and it's not really professional, please change it. Please change it to your name, your first name, last name at Gmail or yahoo.com. So update your contact details. Maybe you've moved, do that. Verify your references. So you may have references on there. You may not have updated your resume since 1990, I don't know, 8 or 2000 or whenever. And you have those references. You may have, somebody may have died, somebody, you and them may not be as close. So you want to update your references. Or maybe the persons were there fine, but you have now had more better references in terms of you know, some people, how do I say this without coming across very a type of way, as we would say. There are some references that stand out more, so you may want to add, and maybe you know someone like that, please add their name, but ask them first. Okay, so you want to do that. And you want to focus on the last 3 positions that you held. You don't want to focus on like 5 years, 10 years ago when you were a store clerk. That is irrelevant. It doesn't matter there. So you want to focus on your last 3 positions that you held. You want to update, and you want to add the results that you did. Lots of the times persons put in their job description, which is great, but as somebody reading that, what have you contributed? Anybody could copy a job description, but what results did you achieve for the company? What awards did you win? And so forth. So you want to update your resume and look at these areas. The next, I have to make sure that I've said the correct number, because I numbered them incorrectly. So the next one is number 3, and it's the last one, and it's really about upskilling. So you looked at you updated your resume, you took an inventory of all your skills, and you really want to upskill. I am a firm believer in constant learning. We have to learn. We learn until the day we die. And I feel like the day you stop learning, the day you, is the day you die, the day you miss out. And so I'm a strong advocate for continuous learning. And so I really believe in upskilling. I really believe in personal development. And so I would strongly suggest that if this is not a trait that you have, that you really consider it. You have nothing to lose, but you have everything to gain, because when you have your experience, there's nobody who could take that away from you, and you make yourself more knowledgeable and marketable. So upskill. So think about it. Now, going back to my previous point that I made earlier, there has been a huge push because of the pandemic and the social distancing and all that to put stuff online. the other day I was listening to the NEOC briefing, um, and the gentleman from the Treasury, he was speaking about the fact that they we're going to put a lot of the payments that the government is supposed to be making online. Outside of the pandemic, it seems like this is a project that they were tasked with, and so this, if I mean, I know in St. Kitts there we have a lot of manual processes. Like for example, and I'm not. This is not knocking anybody, or this is not saying that I want jobs to go away. But for example, I have a mailbox and every year I pay. And I look at the poor lady that writes the receipt. She has this huge logbook and she writes the receipt, she writes up everything. I have to sign my name. And I keep thinking to myself, why don't they make it so easier on her just to put in a point of sale system so she could just and enter the little, just update it so it could make her job so easier, and I feel like this pandemic, if those projects were 10 years out, they're going to be like 3 to 4 years in, right around the corner. I mean, we can see that during the pandemic, we had all these supermarkets going online, putting their products online so persons can get home delivery, they can order and stuff like that. And so I really feel that digital is where it's at. And I would encourage you to look at the skills that you have currently that need updating, but also to get some digital skills. And so I have a few that I think will be needed in the future. So basic computer skills. So for those persons who may be listening this and don't really know how to use a computer, get on board. Get on board. So I'm going to do I'm going to post a website I found that shows how to even use the internet, most basic, how to use the internet, how to use social media. I'm going to post that. So update your basic computer skills. Excel, you hear me talk about it. You can't go wrong with Excel. There's a lot of free programs out there, courses out there. There's also a lot of paid programs and within reason. Computer coding, that's going to be a huge one. App design, and if you're a techie person, if you're a computer geek, I think this is the way to go because people need people who can design apps. That's going to be huge. Social media marketing, content marketing, web design. I feel like this is going to be it in the future. And so there are many others out there. I can't mention them all, but I would suggest to you that even if you are, because I'm going to do it as well, even if you are comfortable using social media, comfortable using the computer, I would suggest that you look at other digital skills so that you can add that to your skills, your technical skills. So that would be a huge piece of advice for you. And so we've come to the end of Wavelength. These are just the tips that I've had for you today. Um, I really feel like the future is changing, and as this dust settles, the future is going to be different, sorry, than it was previously, before in the past. As the dust settles, as things become more clear, I'm going to be coming on here occasionally and just sharing tips and trends and things I think that, we should be looking at, you should be looking at, and that's it really. And so leave your comments, share with me, tell me what you think. If you've been taking, I know some persons have been taking online courses and so forth. If you have been, if you found an interesting one, share it on the people's brand page, share it for all of us to see. And if you'd love to be coached by me, you need some feedback on your resume, please send me an email at hellowaveme@thepeoplebrandskn.com, or send me a WhatsApp at 663-3356. And I would love to work with you. So until next week. Oh, and please share this if I'm sure you have friends or family that can benefit. So share it. Share this video. And so I will see you next week. Until then, stay safe. Bye.